pilots, and welcome to MotionRC.com. Today is an exciting day here at MotionRC because the beloved A-10 is now getting a version 2. As you see in front of me, it is one of the most stunning Freewing models in the entire lineup now, and I am so excited to show you guys around this model. Now, if you want that deep dive overview, it is available, and if you want to see it on the product page of the airplane, you can also find it there. Now, without further ado, what we're going to do in today's video is just get this aircraft assembled. First thing we need to do is get this aircraft out of the box. You're going to notice it comes with a huge box when you get this aircraft. After you get the dust cover off, you will need to cut the tape around the outside and separate the two pieces from inside. Then as you go through everything, just make sure you don't see any damage as you're getting your aircraft out. After all, these are being shipped across the country to you. So make sure you look over them at this time. If you find anything, this is your chance to let us know. After you get it all out of the box and laid out, what you need to do is go on and cut the protective film off of the aircraft. You're going to see everything come shrink wrapped in bags. And this is a great time also if you have a little container of some kind, your little bits and bobs bag. There's going to be a lot of screws, all the antennas, everything are in that bag. You can dump those out into some kind of a container so they don't roll across the table if you're putting this together at home. It's really helpful to not lose any of those components. Okay, for step one of the assembly process, we need to get the front half of the fuselage and the rear section of the fuselage put together. If you have an aircraft stand, this is going to be really helpful here to put this aircraft together. We have our Ordnance manufacturing stands, and we also have our Benchcraft stands here that fit the A-10 very well. I definitely recommend getting one or the other. Once you have your parts laid out in front of you, you're going to take the carbon spar that is pre-installed in the tail section and one of the black cap, and you're going to glue that black cap into the carbon spar. Make sure you let this dry before you push the tail section of the aircraft on. That way you don't accidentally glue it on. This is made to be at a part that you can slide on and off if you are to damage the tail. So make sure you don't accidentally glue that in. Once you have that done, you're going to go on and slide the carbon spar in and then reach up into the front section of the fuselage, and you're going to see the multi-function control wire. Go on and pull that out, and you're going to plug that into the multi-function control board that's attached to the back section of your tail. Once that's complete, you can slide the tail completely on where they're flush. At this time, it's time to install our 3 screws that are going to actually hold this section on. All the screws in this kit are exactly the same. You need a 2mm Allen key. If you get a chance, grab one of our MIP toolkits. The MIP 2mm screwdriver is one of the perfect tools for putting these aircraft together, and there's a 3-pack set right now on the website that are really, really good for any of the MotionRC aircraft. Now that we have our fuselage put together, it's time to actually assemble the tail. Pretty simple process here. What you're going to do is use a come get 'em wire, and there is one that comes installed in the kit. It's this big silver rod with a loop on the end of it. And you're going to push that through the inside channel of the elevator. Once it gets to the middle section, you can kind of lift up on it, pull it out, and then you're going to be able to hook the wires. You've got 2 different wires here, one for the lights and one for the rudder themselves on the vertical stabilizer that you're going to be able to hook onto that wire. Pull those down the channel until they exit the hole on the inside there. Repeat this same process for the other side. Now that you have all of your wires in the middle, what you need to do is plug them in. You'll see another multi-function control board inside the elevator section. On that multi-function control board, you're going to see there's 2 wires already plugged in. Right in front of those is a 3-wire connector labeled rudder. That is where you're going to plug your 2 rudders into on this controller. Off to the other side, there's a 2-wire connector, and they are labeled positive and negative. These are where your lights are going to go. Red is your positive and black is your negative. Go on and plug all of that in. Then we're going to take the 2 rudders, we're going to lift them up and press fit them on to the elevator itself. Once you've done that, you're going to simply take 2 more of those same 2mm Allen key screws and we're going to affix the rudders onto the elevator. All right, now that you have your tail actually assembled, it's time to get it installed onto the fuselage. To do this, flip the aircraft upside down. It will be a lot easier. Then you're going to simply take the one white multifunction control wire that's coming out of the fuselage and plug that into the multifunction control board built into the tail. You're going to see there's going to be a spot for it. Once you've done that, set the tail onto the fuselage, careful, making sure not to pinch any wires between the foam joining points. There is a channel in there. Make sure all your wires stay in that channel. Once it seats down, you should not have to force this. It is time to actually install the screws. You're going to use 4 more of those same screws we were using earlier to attach this to the fuselage. Now that that's complete, you have your tail installed on the aircraft. All right, for the next step of the process, we need to get our motor and motor pod installed into the aircraft. Once again, take that same come get 'em wire, the big silver wire that came in the kit. We're gonna pass it down the channel into the forward section of the fuselage. You're gonna see there's a big hole right there at the area where the motors go on. Once you have that up into the front, what I like to do is take the wire loom and unroll it. It's going to be a big mess of wires coming off of this motor pod. And at the end of it, take a zip tie and put it around all the wires. This is going to keep them all together where you're not trying to pull one in and then the next one and one comes off. That's why I zip tied all these wires together. A bread tie, something, tape them. You just want to make sure that one wire doesn't get loose and come off while you're trying to make this pull through there. After that, if you did the zip tie, I actually linked the come get 'em wire around the zip tie and then pulled the loom to the front of the aircraft. Take your time with this part. When you get up into the forward section of the airplane, there are wires going up and down out of the multifunction control board. You don't want to accidentally pull one of those off, so take your time here. Once you have everything to the front, the motor pod should just set down and not be pushed on really hard or anything. If you're pushing really hard, there's probably a wire pinched. Check underneath it. This is made to fit really well on this part. Once you get the motor pod set down onto the fuselage, you're going to take 6 more of those same screws we've been building the entire aircraft with. We're going to install those on the top section. At this point, it's time to actually install the wings on the aircraft if you choose to. If you want to wait until after you do your radio setup, I understand also. But at this point, that's when I put mine on. You're going to take your 2 carbon spars, glue the little black caps, once again, just like we did earlier, into those spars. Let them set up so that they have time and not get stuck inside the wings. Once those are dry, slide them through the fuselage. Make sure that all 4 of your quick connect buttons on the bottom of the aircraft are out. You'll know if they're out or not, whether you can see white or if they're painted gray, they're in. So that's how you're going to tell if it's unclipped. Once you know they're all unclipped, you're going to slide one wing half on, then connect the one multifunction control wire to the multifunction control board, sliding the wing on the rest of the way until it seats up into the aircraft. Sometimes I find it a little bit better if you push that last little section, kind of snap it in, just to make it seat all the way, and then close your 4 quick release buttons. That will actually get the wings attached onto the aircraft. This is a super, super nice upgrade from the original version. No more screws, and then that one connector now. Pretty nice. Now that that's complete, once again, I'm going to go on and put my radio gear in the aircraft right now. If you did it before we put the wings on, I understand that also. You're going to need at least a minimum of 8 channels to take care of all the functions of the standard version of this aircraft without the gyro. With that option, you're going to have your guns, your reverse thrust, landing gear, all the functions you need. It will take 8 channels. If you get the upgraded high performance version of the A-10, you will need at least 9 channels to also use the gyro function, because that aircraft is going to come with the gyro pre-installed in it. Okay, now that we have our receiver installed into the aircraft, it is actually time to put all the ordnance and all the bits and bobs on. So with the ordnance going from the outside in, you need to do each one of the pods first. You will notice that they are all labeled. So From the outside, on the right-hand wing, we're gonna start with pylon 4, then we're gonna put pylon 3 on, pylon 2 on, and pylon 1. Now we're at the fuselage, going the other direction on the left-hand wing. We're gonna go pylon 1, then pylon 2, pylon 3, then pylon 4. That will get all of our weapons ordnance pylons installed. Now, there is really no right way to load up your A-10 with its ordnance, but if you choose to do the same way I did it, it is laid out right inside of the book. The other cool thing, if you had the previous version of the A-10, all the ordnance are still gonna work on it. If you have other ones of our 90mm aircraft, you can mix and match. This is the same missile rails that come on all of our Freewing aircraft as of late. So feel free to mix and match weapon ordnance underneath your A-10 because you can load it up. After that, the simple thing now is to put all of the little bits and bobs on that make it really look scale and detail. So you have 2 antennas up on the top. If we flip the aircraft over, you're gonna know there's this hoop style antenna. This goes right behind the nose gear wheel. On the back section of the fuselage, there are 3 antennas that just press fit on. Anybody that had the original version knew this was just a single piece of plastic. Now it's actually 3 molded antennas that can be removed. Back up on the nose, you also have a little antenna that goes beside the landing gear. Anybody that had the original version also would recognize this forward section antenna. This antenna would get knocked off constantly on the original versions. Now it's on a missile rail system, so you can take this one on and off with ease if you're transporting this on its belly. At the leading edge of the wing, there are also the 2 strakes that come down off of that. These are now also on a missile rail system, so if you're traveling with the fuselage laying down in your car, you can now pop these off and not break those either. Really nice upgrade there. Well guys, that gets the A-10 assembly all complete. Once again, if you want more details about all the features of this new A-10, we're gonna have that video linked up in the top for you. It'll be in the description. It's on the product page. Go check it out. We're gonna have full flight videos. This airplane, when you're seeing this video, is out and for sale right now. So go get one. And as always, whether it's air, land, or sea, you can get it right here at motionrc.com. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.